All right, we are live for the Sunday market breakdown. I'm just going to give it a couple of minutes, as always, just to allow people to get here. Let's hop on over to YouTube's, see if we've gone live, and we have, which is good. All righty. Welcome everybody who is joining us live for the Sunday market breakdown. In the comments, as always, let me know who you are, where you're tuning in from. It's always good to see new people and, of course, the same old faces showing up consistently. That's what this is all about. Just give me a second here, guys. I've just got in for today, so a bit of a rush today, but we do it anyway. We get it done. There we go. Nicely done. All right, so pretty savage week in the markets. We had beginning of the month, so it's obviously NFP, first Friday of every month. But we did the same thing as we always do, week in, week out, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today. So today, if you are joining for the very first time, the Sunday Market Breakdown, this is where I cover trades taken this week. I look at why I took them, I show the setups, I show why I got into them, and then we look at the week ahead. Check the economic calendar, so for any upcoming data releases that may affect and cause some movement in the markets. That's what we like. We want to see movement. That's what allows us to get our entries, and then we'll just check the charts through all the pairs that we usually look through, and the main reason being that we want to ensure that we are ready and prepared. Hello Mahal in the comments. All right, so I don't want this video to go on too long today. The last few that we've done like this have overran slightly, so I want to try and keep on track. Although the last weeks that we did do, there were more trades. This week, just 4 trades, 5 if you count the one that's still open. So taking trades on pound, yen, another pound, dollar, and then euro, dollar. So it's pound, dollar long on Thursday, and then pound, dollar short on the Friday. So making money on the way up and making money on the way down. And the other thing that I want to share as well is about the community. So if you don't know and you haven't seen this already, this is Leveled FX. It's completely free to join. In here, we've got the classrooms teaching exactly how I do what I do. It's totally free. Anybody can literally just click on the link below this video. If you're watching the replay right now, if you want to check it out, it's school.com/leveledfx. That'll bring you right over here. And one of the things that I want to point out is, like, if we take this trade, for example, pound, dollar long, if we do a search for 1.2783 in the community, you see 1.2783, you see that I posted this 6 days ago. So this is the type of thing that we do in here. I sort of show what I'm looking for in the week ahead. So this was Monday morning. Do a quick run through with a video posted, and then just let everyone know what I'm looking out for today. And then we fast forward to the end of the week. I've posted the same trades once again, and basically 3 out of the 4 trades posted ended up all doing the pips. So if you're interested in learning more about what I do, how I do it, school.com/leveledfx. That's the place to go. Community's growing week on week, and yeah, it's just really cool to see more and more people coming in. So without further ado, let's get into it. So back to here, and I'm going to take a look at pound, dollar long on the Thursday. So let's go into the charts. And guys, if you have any questions as we're going along, I'm going to go real slow and just show exactly how things played out. And through doing that, I hope that you can gain some kind of idea of how it is that I trade. It might be insightful in some way. And if you have any questions, these Sunday market breakdowns are the time to ask. That's why I do them, so that they are live. This isn't pre-recorded in any way, as you can probably tell from me flapping about at the beginning, trying to get my camera to work. But yeah, so what we are looking at here. So let's replay the market. So the main way that I trade is on pullbacks, right? So we're looking for strong moves into strong levels. So the reason I'd identified this as an entry level on the Monday morning is because back at the beginning of last month, we had a pretty strong move off this level. I've refined the level to the 4 hour, and that's all that's my full analysis, right? So apart from that, all I'm looking for is how price actually arrives. Get a bit of light in here. How price actually arrives at that level. So if we play the market forward, I'm currently on the 4 hour chart. I'll drop to the 1 hour just so we can see it in a bit more detail. The white line here is my first entry on this setup. So I've identified it here and we're just playing the market forwards. So we had a strong move down towards the level. Continued strength of the move heading in, and then the level got hit. Price slowed down. Price continued down for quite some time, and then ended up reversing from a little bit lower. So we had to suffer on this one about 28 pips of drawdown, which is absolutely fine because the way that risk is managed, I can use this as my stop loss here. So basically, this trade for me would only fail if price came below here. What I would then do if price hit the level below, which was kind of being treated as my backup level. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, I treat the backup level as the same as I would. Basically, I'm including the backup level as part of this one trade. So it's 2 positions taken, but it's all the same trade. So all I would have done here is taken a second entry just down here and then gone again. And that's part of it. And if price breached that level, then, you know, so be it. My trade idea would have failed and my risk management is on point to allow me to be comfortable enough to take that trade, even though price has gone against me. But price didn't get there, unfortunately. We came all the way back up to entry and then continued on up and we hit the first area of potential struggle. Why was this the first area of potential struggle? Well, as you can see, we've got these wicks laying above here. There's also a bit of a level just here, but I think that's from more recent price action. It's just we're in the replay tool right now. But the fact is that these wicks tell me that when price hits them, we're probably going to slow down because other traders, algorithms, institutions, whatever you want to call it, Jesus is placing his trade in the opposite direction in order to take profits off the table. So that would be a prime place for me to take a bit off the table. So at that point, I took 80% partial trade and I leave a 20% of the trade running, meaning if price continues to go on, that 20% will run on up, hopefully to another significant level where I can then cash it and it will be larger than the initial trade that I actually took. When that happens, it is great. Doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's phenomenal. Because it's essentially just, you know, a big trade from very low risk. And yeah, that was the pound dollar trade. I think price then reversed and came and took me out after I'd moved my stop loss here to break even. To cover, you know, if price did pull back, I've still got 20% of the trade running. So that's how I managed that trade. So pound dollar was a win. It was called in Leveled Effects community on the school platform. So super happy about that, to be able to share that with other people. And then we move on. So that was I don't know why I said that was on Monday. It's Thursday. So I called it on Monday. It happened on Thursday. So sometimes price takes some time to play out. Then we had pound yen long on the Thursday also. So let's hop back into that. Pound yen. Here we go. This one happened overnight. So, well, I say it happened overnight. Let's check it here. Replay the market. So let's pull the market back here. We're on the 1 hour still, so I'll flip to the daily chart. We don't mess about on the 1 hour time frame. We're only really looking weekly, daily, 4 hour, and we use the lower time frames to identify key areas to take profits. So I'm wondering if anybody who is watching can identify why this is a level, why this is an area of interest for me to take an entry from. No prizes for guessing. We've got a really strong move off this level. It was the last push down on pound yen before we made a huge move up here. I think we moved off that almost 1,000 pips. So it was a really strong move. Daily level, refined to the candle body close as always. And yeah, I just had my pending order waiting here on pound yen. Managed to cash about 60 pips on this one. And same as always, I had an advanced take profit that cashed me out at 80%. And, on pound yen, no, this one I took full profits because I wasn't on screen to actually do the advanced take profit. But regardless, it was a decent trade. So if we play this one forward, boom. Price moved in. We did breach the level. It was a bit of drawdown here, like quite a bit, but it's pound yen. So 80 pip drawdown on a yen pair, it's nothing. If it was pound dollar, it may have had me sweating a bit, but fortunately, this did happen and tapped in during the night. And yeah, price then reversed and came up, hit the first area of potential struggle that I had. And we can look at why that was there. Exactly the same reason as we had on pound dollar. We had these wicks where price had formed some kind of structure to show that price is likely to slow down here. So first area of potential struggle just under that. So pretty decent trade, and yeah, 45 pips taken on that one. Nicely done. So that was the pound yen trade. What happened after that is price reversed and continued down. So had the same issue as pound dollar in that price did its thing, did go higher, but whatever, we were taken out. So the whole point of how I trade as well is that I'm not looking for huge moves, right? So in this, the most important thing is to make sure you get paid every time you get a decent setup. So price could move 100 pips away, and sometimes it does. But what we're not trying to do is wait for a huge win. What I do instead is take very high probabilities trade setups. The hit rate, I mean, I haven't actually calculated what the hit rate is recently, but I can tell you it's at least 90%, right? And when it's at least 90%, you're factoring everything that's going on in the market at the time. And therefore, if it's a strong enough level and you don't have some ridiculously tight stop, I don't use stop losses like the traditional sense. As you can see, I don't even use the short and long tool on TradingView because it doesn't allow me to place multiple entries like this. And I just don't believe in dragging this out and finding some imaginary risk reward. My risk reward is often negative, right? Meaning I'll let price go 100 pips against me and I might only take 30 pips off the trade. Sometimes that can happen, right? Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, you've already planned for it. So it's about taking consistent profits, not trying to make the biggest amount of money. And just doing that over and over and over again. And if you look back on the channel, you can check all the live streams. I've been doing these ones now for 6 weeks. So for the last 6 weeks, I've been coming on here every single week and showing you exactly what was taken, why it was taken, and then looking at the week ahead. And, things change throughout the week, but that's why you need to be part of the community if you want to get access to that information. But in general, it's the same thing over and over again. So yeah, if you're seeing this over and over again, like I'd have to question why you wouldn't already be part of the community and why you haven't yet decided that this is something that you could do also. So anyway, that's pound yen. Now let's take a look at dollar yen. This was also a decent trade. So when was this? This was on Friday. Yeah, here it was. So dollar yen was actually a weekly level. So if we zoom out, I'll just replay the market back to, probably won't be able to replay because it's weekly, won't make much difference. But yeah, essentially over here, we've got the weekly level refined to the previous candle body close, as there was a bit of a gap between here. So whenever that happens, I do take the previous candle as the candle body close. So really strong level. Here we'd had a move in of 381 pips before then moving off the level and doing over 1,000 once again. So the timing and everything looked decent for me. And as we approached the level, the pending order went on. So placed the limit order, ready to go. And yeah, same old stuff. Really strong move in. What was that bar there? Yeah, it's almost a 200 pip move into the level. And then price just like within 15 minutes did 100 pips off the move. A little bit disappointed with myself on this one, as I only took 40 pips here, but this was on the Friday, so it was NFP move. So yeah, this is the other thing, right? When you've got NFP, non-farm payroll, a big data release happening on the day, you don't want to be really putting any pending orders anywhere near where price is currently. But at the time, price was a good 200 pips away from the level still. So for me, that made the level still valid, still a valid trade. And it worked, and it worked very fast. We dropped down to the 15. We can see how quick that happened. Yeah, so basically within the hour, did 112 pips, then came back and ended up taking me out just a bit lower. So that was dollar yen on Friday. Another decent trade. And then back to pound dollar. So we obviously had the long on Thursday when price came down, hit the 12783 level. And then the NFP move on Friday, I took a short from 12819. So let's have a look at that. So here's the previous trade, and here is the Friday trade. So don't really need to replay the market here. I'm down on the 15 minutes, so you can see exactly what happened. Price was hovering down here. We had an 80 pip move into the level. Perfectly fine on pound dollar. You do want more of a move on the yen pairs just because they are more volatile. But yeah, we had a really strong move into the level. Around 20 pips of drawdown on pound dollar. And then we moved away and just tapped into the first area of potential struggle. For me, this was another level. So I just I went level to level on this one, as there wasn't really a key level for me to pick out as an area of struggle on this. The only other one I could really look at is the pullback as part of the push up into the level. But because this was NFP, it was hugely volatile, and I don't really think it was leaving behind any kind of clues. So anyway, I was happy with that one. Managed to take 34 pips off the table, and that was it. So those were all the closed trades that I had. In fact, pound dollar, I've still got the runner running on that. We're still open. So price hit the first area of potential struggle, and when the market closed on Friday, we were still about running 14 pips on that. So I've got my stop loss just above the highs here, as you saw before, just up here. And that's just to see if price comes back, retests the same level again, and then moves lower. Or it could just come back and continue on up. Whatever happens, happens. I've already paid myself from that particular move, so got no issues with that. What I do have slight more issue with is euro dollar short. So same kind of move as pound dollar. It was off the back of the NFP data release as well. So I took a short here on euro dollar from the 10907. I took this a bit later, and I took it as a manual trade as opposed to a limit order, which is what I would usually use to get a better price. The reason being, I thought that price was going to get up here. But when I saw price struggling around here, I decided I would take the trade as if this level had gone. So I got in later. I saw pound dollar was dropping. So my entry on this was just a bit above the level, but this is essentially the level that was taken. So I just got a slightly better price, seven pips better. Nothing crazy. But price didn't actually come anywhere near the first area of potential struggle yet. So we're still hovering up in this area. And price could continue on up. If it does, we'll see what happens when we get to this level. If we have a move into the level, it's 30 pips away. I was more inclined to take this level if we got there on Friday, because it was still part of the same trading day. But now, you know, when the market reopens later tonight, I'm a little less keen on taking that level. I'm just going to see how it opens and whether we actually continue to drop off. If we continue to drop off, I may just close the trade at break even. We'll see what happens, but it will all depend on what we've got coming up next week, which we'll take a look at in just a second. But in short, what I was sharing with the group on Friday was the fact that price had breached my level. Not by a huge amount, same amount as pound dollar, did exactly the same. So pound dollar breached and then did the move. The only issue with euro dollar was that the euro just seemed to gain a lot more strength off the back of the dollar's weakness on the NFP results. So yeah, just one of those things. So on Friday, I was explaining to the guys that if we were to continue to push up, then I'd be inclined to take the backup level, which would be from here. So I just double up and continue down. And if we did breach this zone up here, then I would just call that a loss and walk away, come back another day. And that's it. So I'm still sitting in euro dollar. All the other trades are closed out. Pound dollar is still running 20%. But yeah, it was a good trading week. 100% wins if we don't include the euro dollar. But euro dollar is still open. So we're just going to see what happens with that. Now, let's have a quick look at the economic calendar for the week ahead. Where are we at? So Sunday the 4th to the 10th. So what I'm doing now is just having a quick look at what is coming up in terms of data releases next week. We do this every single Sunday. I suggest doing this to all the traders to know exactly what's coming up. I also suggest doing it on a daily basis. So do it on the Sunday when you're planning your week, just to have an idea of what's coming up. And then also do it each morning when you're just having a look at what's happened overnight in the markets. So just best practice. So let's see. Monday, we've got some Chinese news, PMI. That's usually not too much to worry about. And then in the afternoon, we've got ISM services, PMI on the dollar, 2 p.m. So maybe a little bit of volatility, although I don't expect much from that, especially after NFP week. Tuesday, we've got the Royal Bank of Australia's interest rate decision. So definitely expect some high volatility from that. Consensus is 4.35. Previous results was also 4.35. So just have to see what happens with that. So that's happening tonight. And then we've got the press conference about an hour after they release the data. So that could get some of the Aussie pairs moving. So we'll just bear that in mind before we go and jump into the charts and have a look at some of the tech. Then into the day, we've got Euro retail sales. That could do something. So just be aware of that if you're entering any Euro trades on the Tuesday or late in the day on Monday. And then we've got New Zealand employment change and unemployment rate, again happening at night. So for me, want to be probably avoiding Aussie New Zealand pairs in the early part of the week, just letting things play out a bit, especially after New Zealand dollar's been getting smashed the last couple of weeks. It has been making a bit of a recovery lately though, so just the main thing is to see if any levels are near and are likely to come into play. Wednesday, nothing, just pretty light day. So could be a little bit more aggressive with some of the trades. Got some Japanese yen, Bank of Japan summary of but nothing crazy. Thursday, we've got the Royal Bank of New Zealand inflation expectations. So again, Aussie and New Zealand. It's the week for Aussie and New Zealand, so be aware of that. That's the main takeaway so far. CPI on some Euro news and CAD net change in unemployment and employment rate CAD on Friday. So that's cool. So basically Aussie New Zealand pairs, got to be on the watch, be a bit cautious with that as we've got interest rate decision for Aussie dollar and we've got a fair bit of, what was it on New Zealand? Was it unemployment? Is it Thursday or Tuesday? The Royal Bank of New Zealand inflation expectations. So, and a speech on Aussie dollar. So yeah, just be cautious with Aussie New Zealand pairs going into next week. But other than that, looks pretty decent with maybe some CAD action on the Friday from unemployment. So with all that being said, now we can jump over to the charts. Back up to the daily. And let's just have a quick look at some of the things we might be looking for. So let's adjust some of these weekly levels. Euro dollar. We're still a good 130 pips away from the weekly level up here. So 1.1043 could come into play. I don't really want to be taking any more trades around this area. Just depends, of course, on that euro dollar second entry coming into play. Let's look at the overall positioning. We've failed to go lower quite a few times now on euro dollar. Here, so we are sort of getting squeezed both directions, this way and also this way, which could mean that she wants to go higher, but if that's the case, that's the case. But if that does happen, the weekly candle body close there, it looks very nice. And then there's a refinement above that on the 4 hour by the looks of it. Just over here, that was a trade we took back on, December. Still in there. Cool. So anyway, that's euro dollar. Don't know why I started with the euro dollar, but I guess it was still on there from running through. So GA, and we'll run through. Pound Aussie, we haven't tapped into these highs yet, so wouldn't be surprised if we got up there, especially with the Aussie news. Yeah, could be looking to go higher on that, but as you can see on the charts, all I'm looking for really here are some strong levels. With an interest rate decision, that could be enough to get us up here if we had weakness in the Aussie. And equally, if we did have Aussie strength, then I probably wouldn't bother looking at anything on GA until we got somewhere down here again. Just want to come out of this area that we've been stuck in for quite a long time now. So we'll just see. Let's have a look at the daily. Yeah, like this weekly level has been done twice. This weekly level could work, but nothing that stands out anyway. GN, so a bit of New Zealand strength. Currently running 400 pips. Man, that's a damn shame. I took that trade, not this week, but last week, and it did the pips, then it came back out, took my runner. I'll be currently running I'd be running 500 pips on the runner right now if that didn't happen. So that's a bit annoying, but these things happen. Still made sure I was paid, so no hard feelings. Pound dollar. Let's have a look at this. Same as euro dollar, really. It looks like it could go higher, but if we do go lower, maybe this weekly level might have a crack at that again. We are currently sitting 170 pips away. So let's see. Pretty light week on dollar news next week, so should be fine to be fairly aggressive on the dollar pairs. Pound yen. We have got that. But we are very close to it. I'd prefer a bit more of a push up and then a push down, but nothing really for me until we hit that weekly level around the 179.5 area. Pound CAD. Again, I'm still waiting for this level above to get hit. We moved away this week, so if we could get up to those highs, that'd be good. Let's clean this up a bit. It looks awful. Let's get rid of that. Might still use that on a level in here somewhere, but still pushing up. So weekly level up here for pound CAD could come into play. 18257. If we could get up there, that could be a decent trade. The CAD pairs like to go level to level as well, so it would be nice if we could get up there. That'd be a decent payday on that. Pound Swiss. Again, look, the Swiss pairs love the levels. Here we've used the weekly twice. Pulled off. So when was that? It's back on the 16th of July. So if we were to get down to this weekly level, 1.0691, calling it now, that level. That should do nicely. Looks like we're going to continue that down. I'll just have a look at the other Swiss pairs as well. Euro Swiss also doing the same thing. So we're coming into this zone. It's 80 pips, but Swiss pairs barely move. You can end up sitting in them for quite some time. But pound Swiss, that level aligns with Euro Swiss, this one here, and then obviously the lower one would align more with the lower pound Swiss as well down here. So if we did see alignment on that, even more reason to take it. This weekly level though looks pretty appealing to me. It's a really strong move down for a Swiss pair. CAD Swiss, let's have a look at that. Just forever moving lower. We're at all-time lows, so I've got no data to work off on that. We're just heading on down. So until we get a bit of a turnaround there, CAD Swiss is off the cards for me at the moment. CAD Yen. Did react off the weekly level. Did 90 pips. So that was part of the same trades I took on Friday with dollar yen. Pound yen was also a level. So it looks like we came down. Tapped into the level. Where we're on now, the hourly. So yeah. NFP time on the Friday, and then did 90 odd pips back up here. So it's a strong move. Just another great example of the weekly level working. Euro Aussie heading on up, moving towards this weekly level. 180 pips off. Definitely be worth a go because it's a long old way to the next level. That just looks horrendous. So hopefully we don't have to enter that area because that will just take Euro Aussie out of the equation for me. But yeah, it looks like we may get a short from the weekly level. Could also refine it to the daily or the 4 hour. Let's have a look. Don't like the 4 hour action on that. And the daily level is like 40 pips from the weekly. So let's entertain that. Candle body close, most recent price action, and away. In case you were wondering how I managed to figure that out, just levels, people, that's all it is. Euro New Zealand, we are making a bit of a recovery on this, bit behind EA. EA's already cleared the highs, EN following behind, but still looking bearish after a small pullback from here. Small pullback, 400 pips. But yeah, same thing really, weekly level above, if we can get up there. Don't think that would be worth another try, to be honest. It's been too soon since we were there. We were there on Monday last week, so I don't really want to play that game. I would have rather price moved right down to this level and came back up. Would be a bit of a stronger move in. 135 pips away. Doesn't mean it won't work. It just depends on what everything else is doing. Remember, it is levels based, but you want to bear in mind what's happening in the rest of the market at the same time. So here we've got EA, which is pushing on up. We've got EN, which is pushing on up. If levels align and hit at the same time, it's going to make everything that much more worthwhile taking. Euro dollar. So a look here. We've looked at this a fair bit already, which is what we started on. So you know my opinion on that. Weekly levels upcoming, but yeah, just have to see how we open tomorrow or tonight on that. Euro CAD. This was on here from a trade example with one of the guys in the community. Basically, it entered on this level, which was a perfectly reasonable place to enter. It was refined to the 4 hour. So from back here, candle body close, perfectly reasonable entry. And to be honest, if you'd taken that entry on dollar CAD instead, which was the one called in the group, that was this level here. So exactly the same play. I just moved my entry higher because we were so close with NFP. But if you'd taken that, then that was the one that did the number. Just a bit unlucky to be caught out with Euro CAD really on that. But as I said on Friday in the group, it's just the same play that I'm in on Euro dollar right now. Euro gained a lot more strength off the back of the dollar's weakness, just how it was. So if price comes up here, you might want to entertain taking another trade. I wouldn't take it from there though. I take it from the daily. And yeah, so that would be more than okay. I've lost my place. Right, so Euro Swiss, same as the others. We kind of looked at it already with Pound Swiss. So if we were to get down to these lows, not financial advice, but I'm pretty sure that level is going to pay. Euro Pound, not one I trade. It's been tempting me recently though. If you check the weekly level from back along, so that's this one here. Again, remember when there's a gap between the candles, we take the previous candle body close, not the most recent one, just because of the gap. So if we bring that back over, as you can see, Euro Pound has actually done some numbers for a change off the back of the weekly level. So it's kind of like the Swiss pairs. It's a very slow mover. A weekly candle is 60 pips. So you just have to wait a really long time to get paid. So if you don't mind swap fees and you don't mind watching paint dry, it's a similar hobby. You can trade Euro Pound or you can be a professional paint drying watcher. Same stuff. Euro yen, this really I'm waiting on the lower levels. I'm sure it will do lots of fancy stuff in between. It's just too high risk for me with this area here. If you look at the price action throughout that, it just doesn't, that's like real day trader stuff in there. And whilst I do identify as a day trader, I'm not that much of a day trader. There's numbers in there. It's just, I don't like how it's all so close together. I'd rather swingy kind of moves. But anyway, as you can see, like there's no level in here that stood out when Euro Yen just got its move on last week. So unless we get lower to the weekly level, what I consider more strong, I don't really want to look at anything within that. Aussie dollar, slightly down. How's that looking on GA? Slightly up, makes sense. So a bit of an Aussie weakness. But again, remember the week that we've got upcoming, a lot of news in there for Aussie with the interest rate decision. So either this will turn things around for the Aussie dollar and we'll head back up, or we're going to sink much, much lower. Let's have a look at where we're positioned, the structure. So we've kind of, I mean, this is the weekly, so it's a really long time. But let's look a bit more recent. Kind of squeezy. Cover your eyes whilst I draw a trend line. Nothing obvious there. So who knows? We just have to get this interest rate decision out of the way and see what happens with Aussie. I'm sure it will provide decent opportunities, but there's nothing obvious to me right there now. It would just be these lower weekly levels that could come into play. But at the same time, I don't really like all that in there. That could just be like days of going up and down. Bit messy. So let's see. Aussie Swiss just breached the weekly level. Just want to check if this actually had any reaction. It did. So this is exactly what I mean by the Swiss pairs liking the weekly levels. So if you look at the weekly, it just looks like it gave no consideration to that level at all and just smashed it. That's why you've got to drop down the time frames to get a bit more of a clue. If you look at the daily, it looks like it got smashed, right? Drop to the 4 hour, we can see price actually had a pretty strong move into the level. We had 4 pips of drawdown and then boom, 37 pips off the weekly level. So don't discount weekly levels on the Swiss pairs, even if you're not the biggest fan like me of them. The weekly levels work really well. So just don't discount them. Aussie CAD. Weekly level. Kind of messed about. Did get the 30 pips out of it, but it had been done quite a few times already, but it still had that reaction. So it looks like we might be dropping a bit lower on that now. But again, Aussie pair. So let's see what happens with this. Might produce some decent opportunities. For example, if I compared Aussie CAD to Aussie dollar looks a bit of a mess to me, whereas Aussie CAD looks a little bit cleaner. There's not so many levels on the chart here. So how far are we from that? 200 pips. So that could be also like pretty decent equally. I love when we're like equal distances between levels, because then it really doesn't matter. I have zero bias as to what happens. Whatever happens, happens. And you just take advantage of the level that gets hit. Aussie New Zealand. Horrible pair. A lot of gapping in this. I can't even see a clear level. So I'm talking about this bit here. That's the daily. Let's have a look at the 4 hour. I just really don't like that at all. It's up here or it's down here. I don't really care about that. So that's why we look at many pairs. So we've got many options and we don't have to force ourselves into one pair, because We only trade one pair. Nothing wrong with that. Just I couldn't do it myself. I don't know how people do it. Waiting and waiting for one pair to suddenly look good. Instead, look across the whole market. Take advantage of every opportunity. Or what I mean is see that there are lots and lots of opportunities and then take the best one. No need to limit yourself to one pair. Even one of the arguments, which is, well, if you learn one pair really well, then you know it really well and, you become better at it over time. Well, the same is true for trading all the pairs. Like, it still goes in the trading journal. Like, you still build the data. And in fact, you've just become a better trader because then you understand you're looking across the whole market, not just at like, if you're a euro dollar trader and that's all you trade, or you're a gold trader and that's all you trade. Like, I just feel like you're relying too much on technical analysis for that. You got to understand what the rest of the market is doing in order to be able to trade that one pair. So anyway, that's my small rant on one pair traders. But I actually have nothing against it. I just couldn't trade that way myself. Aussie yen weekly level here. How strong is it? Pretty decent. I'd be surprised if we didn't have a reaction off that. But again, it's an Aussie pair, so and it's a yen pair, which have been wild also the last couple of weeks. So definitely be cautious about taking anything on Aussie. If we got an interest rate decision and it became bad for the Aussie dollar, I wouldn't be surprised on Aussie yen if we could drop like 1,000 pips or something. So just bear that in mind when you're selecting which level you're looking to trade, because most likely the one that's only 200 pips away, if you've got both yen strength and Aussie weakness, this thing could just go down like a dagger. So you don't want to be catching the falling knife on that one. New Zealand dollar just looks horrible as well. We haven't really moved away much from the trade last week. I cashed this one early. But essentially was in from the weekly level before. I cashed it at like 17 pips, then it moved back, took 30 pips to draw down, and now it's running about 90 pips from the entry. But yeah, as you can see on my chart, next level down, I was waiting on a setup there. So just see, like with some of the New Zealand data releases coming out this week, we might want to hang on for a bit and just see where we get taken. If we go higher, obviously we can forget about some of these lows. But if we do get dollar strength, which I doubt we will see because there doesn't look to be too heavy on data releases on the dollar next week. But if we do get Aussie New Zealand strength, we could be clearing these lows and coming right back down here. If we cleared both of these levels here, I would definitely be looking at taking this level down here if the timing works, meaning if we see that all in the week. All right, so New Zealand CAD, not much here really. A bit annoying that we missed the low on the weekly. Again, that was refined to here, but it has been used twice. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave that level on. That's absolutely fine. And is there anything here for us? Daily, maybe there. Maybe something off of that 4-hour candle body close, maybe. Anything more obvious? Not really. Stick with the daily on that. So yeah, something up here or something down here, because we have made a move away and we did just miss it. We've kind of got a similar thing that happened here, just back to front. So just keep an eye on New Zealand CAD, New Zealand Swiss. What have we got here? All-time lows? Yep. Same as CAD Swiss. We're just in new territory, so just got to be careful with that one. There's nothing to go on. Needs to be turned around. You can only really rely on sell levels from above if we got to move up. But if we did get a move up, there's a lot of recovering to be done. So we'll just have to see what happens with that. New Zealand yen, same as Aussie yen really. Got these, let's just compare the two so you see what I mean. Heading down, and we've got like 2 levels just below. New Zealand ones look a bit tighter. But still, that whole area looks a bit horrible. If we can clear this run over here, like just this bit, that would be preferable. Get out of that, get down here, and then I would look at taking this lower weekly level. Dollar yen, this for me looks a lot cleaner. I mean, if you compare these two, look, there's New Zealand yen. Look at that messy price action. And then you look at dollar yen, beautiful. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Here, here, here. That's all I have to say on dollar yen. Looks beautiful. I see myself taking a lot more trades on that in the coming weeks. I've had 2 in the last 2 weeks. Both have paid. So keep an eye on dollar yen. Dollar CAD. This doesn't look too bad either. Missed the trade on this one. I didn't miss it. I changed my opinion on it. But the original level did work just here. So now I'm going to go ahead and say that that level's done. Done. I'll take that one out as well. That's a 4-hour daily. Let's refine that to the daily. Oh, but we've got a gap. It's not very nice. What's the gap? 10 pips. I can handle 10 pips. Yeah, so level above. Not sure about that because we're a bit close now, but we haven't tapped into these highs, and that wick is 57 pips. So 57 pips, and then 170 to the next level, and then a whole bunch of mess. Let's see if I'm feeling like the biscuit is worth the risk it tomorrow. Just see how the market's open tonight. But yeah, we're a bit close to that. But we'll see. Same as the euro dollar really. So to be honest, I'm probably not going to entertain the euro CAD move because I'm already sucking it up with euro dollar. But it could work. Anyway, how did I get to that? Oh yeah, because I was checking dollar CAD. So dollar CAD is 43 pips off the level, and then quite a bit of the way up to the top. Take a look at the Dixie in a minute just to see what may be happening with the dollar pairs. I've got the weekly level on that to tap into down here, so I would expect a reaction from there. And then maybe something here if we tapped off that trend line. Oh, I hate saying the word trend line, but because I don't use them, it's just sometimes they help identify which level is going to be doing the bouncing. So that's the only reason I mention them. That's the only time I'm willing to let them play. Dollar Swiss, this actually looks pretty decent. We're approaching this weird level here where we've had all this gapping going on. I'm not really interested in that one because it's a Swiss pair, but this one aligning with pound Swiss down here and also euro Swiss down here. If you see alignment on all 3 of those at that same time, or it's a Swiss pair, so maybe they're all coming to meet each other, but they all arrive hours behind. That's still fine for a Swiss pair in my opinion. But yeah, if you see that alignment, those levels, they should do the numbers. Even if it's a quick 30, should work well. Swiss yen came within 70 pips of the weekly level. It's a long old wick on that weekly level, which makes it far less appealing for me. So yeah, maybe something in here, but I think it's going to need to be refined if possible. I'm just on the 4 hour now. So maybe we can get something down there. Maybe. We'll see. Gold. Let's have a look. Bit of a pump up. Back end of last week. Didn't quite tap into the highs. But this is a perfect example of why you can't just stick levels on the end of wicks. So I should know better really, but when you got that, it's a complete turnaround. It just stops dead and goes back the other way. That shouldn't really be the level. The level should have been here. Daily candle body close. Because if you go ahead and just stick levels on the end of wicks, it's not really where the level's at, and you end up just missing trades like this. I mean, if you'd taken that level, yes, you would have had to suffer a little bit of drawdown, 97 pips, but moved it over 900 or 575 pips. Like, it's decent. So anyway, little lesson in there for level refinement. Silver, dollar. Again, weekly level, waiting on that. That could be good. And if we get up to the highs, maybe something up here. Something going on with my calendar. If you're thinking about getting fantastical, don't. That's the lesson on that one. Always crashing. That for me is really kind of done. We moved off the level, retested it, and then bounced away. So I'd rather see us come back up here, tap into one of them if we're going to move higher. I think we'll move lower first, but what I think doesn't matter. Market will do what it's going to do. So yeah, dollar index to move slightly lower, which is not helpful for our euro trade, because just to show you my thought process on this, I believe the dollar index wants to get to the weekly level down here. I believe it wants to tap into that liquidity, if we want to say things like that, which will essentially pump euro dollar up to the next level, because we'll be having dollar weakness, euro strength. So the likelihood of us tapping into the level above on euro dollar becomes much more likely now. But at the same time, that does give some weight to my trade idea, which is taking the backup level on euro dollar, because if we do get a reaction from the weekly on the Dixie here, it's quite likely that we will make a pullback here and euro dollar will drop and give us what we want. So yeah, quick look at stocks and then we'll wrap things up. It's been an hour, so quite happy with that. Stocks slightly on the back foot from last week, still dropping, which would usually give dollar strength, but everything's been dropping. So gold dropped, dollar dropped, stocks dropped, US 500, US 30. Interestingly, did that use the trend line? No, see, stupid. Trend lines don't work, I'm telling you. But anyway, UK 100, slightly on the back foot as well from last week, but nothing crazy, still in that consolidation area. German 40, also not really doing anything. But the same can't be said for the Japanese stock market. We have been smashing down on that. Just want to see if we got any kind of reaction off of this. Very small. So this was a 4 hour level. Very small reaction there. A lot of stuff going on with the Japanese stock market. So this is obviously what's been given the yen its strength recently, being that Japanese stocks get sold, which is essentially a trade for the yen. So if you want to buy stocks, you give yen, you get stocks. You want to sell stocks, you get yen. So that's why we're seeing the same move across the board on all the yen pairs. I have said that we've got a weekly level here. Is it a weekly level? It is, but it's for a buy, not a sell. Another good lesson is that this is why I don't trade support and resistance, right? Because support and resistance is essentially saying that a zone can be used for the same thing. It can't. I want to use a buy zone, a buy level as a buy and a sell level for a sell. So right now, this was in here for a weekly. It was refined over here. Price came up and it made its move off. So it worked. But that's not how we want to use this for the move down. Instead, we want to move it to where price moved off of last time, which would be here essentially. That's what stopped price, and therefore you took a buy from that level, right? Hopefully that makes sense. So that's the Japanese stock market. Oil, quick look. Kind of just getting squeezed at the moment. Up, down, lower lows and lower highs. So getting squeezed in here. See what happens with that. We've got CAD news Friday next week. So we'll see if any of that makes any impact to this. Quick look at the old Bitcoin. Oh, look at that. We're back down at 58. Don't care. Same with Ethereum. Cool. Yeah, anyway, guys, that is pretty much the wrap on this week's video. That's what I'm looking at for this week. If you want to know what my opinion is when I wake up tomorrow, best place for you to go to hear that is school.com/leveledfx. Or you can go to leveledfx.com and then click on the link. It'll take you to the community. You can join here. It's free. Giving away this content on the daily. So if you want to get involved, it'd be really cool if you would go ahead and join. I invite everybody from all walks of life, and I am here to help whoever wants to be helped. So anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the YouTube live here, and hopefully see you on the next one, and hope even more to see you inside the community. Anyway, take care, guys. Have a great rest of the Sunday, and yeah, see you on the next one.